Aaliyah sat by the window, staring at the blank pages of her notebook. The pen in her hand felt heavier than it should, and the words she longed to write stayed trapped inside her chest. Outside, the world moved on. Children ran across the street. A vendor called out about fresh fruit. Neighbors laughed from their balconies. Life was loud and alive, but inside her there was silence. She had always dreamed of being a writer. As a little girl, she used to fill diaries with stories of heroes, magical forests, and secret lands. Her teachers had once praised her talent, telling her she had a gift. Her friends would gather around during recess, begging her to read them another story. She had believed then that writing was her destiny. But dreams are fragile things. As she grew older, voices around her became louder than the whispers of her own heart. Writing isn't a real career. You should do something practical. No one makes money from stories. Each sentence carved out into her like a knife. Slowly, the girl who once believed in endless worlds became a woman who kept her head down, working in an office, writing emails instead of novels, reports instead of poems. She chose a path that looked safe, but safe didn't feel alive. Somewhere inside her, the little girl with wild stories was still knocking, begging to be let out. One evening, while scrolling through her laptop, Aaliyah stumbled upon a short story contest. The theme was second chances. Her heart skipped a beat. Wasn't this what she had been waiting for? Her own second chance? Her fingers hovered over the keyboard, ready to register. But almost instantly, the familiar voice of doubt crept in. Who are you kidding? You haven't written in years. You'll embarrass yourself. There will be thousands of better writers. Her hand trembled as she closed the laptop. She sat there in the dim light of her room, staring at the shadows on the wall. Doubt had won again. That night, she lay awake, her father's words echoing in her mind. Years ago, he had once told her, "Beta, failure isn't the enemy. Failure teaches. But doubt steals before you even begin." At the time, she had brushed off his advice. But now, lying in bed with regret clawing at her, she finally understood. The thought of failing didn't scare her as much as the thought of living her whole life wondering, what if I had tried? The next morning, with trembling hands, she opened her laptop again and registered for the contest. Writing after so many years was like learning to walk again. Her senses felt clumsy, her ideas messy. Every time she stopped, the voice of doubt returned. This isn't good enough. Stop before you embarrass yourself. But she refused to give up. Word by word, page by page, she poured her heart onto paper. Some night she cried, frustrated with her own insecurities. But slowly, her story began to take shape. Her characters whispered to her. Her plot unfolded. And for the first time in years, she felt alive. She wasn't just existing, she was creating. When the deadline arrived, she submitted her story with shaking fingers. She didn't tell anyone. It was her secret act of courage. The waiting was torture. Days passed, then weeks. Every time she checked her email, her heart raced. Sometimes she regretted entering at all. But no matter the result, she knew she had already won a battle against doubt. Finally, the results came. She didn't win first place. She didn't even win second. But her story received honorable mention, and her name was published online. Readers left comments. Your story touched my heart. This made me cry. I want to read more of your work. Tears filled her eyes as she read those words. For years, she convinced herself she wasn't good enough. And yet here were strangers telling her that her words mattered. That single moment changed everything. Aaliyah started writing again, regularly this time. She joined online communities of writers, shared her work, and found readers who connected with her stories. Doubt still showed up sometimes louder than before, but now she knew its secret. Doubt was just a liar. It had no power except the power she gave it. Years later, she published her first novel. It wasn't a bestseller, but it reached the hands of people who needed it. She received emails from readers saying, "Your book gave me hope when I was ready to give up, and your words reminded me to keep fighting for my dreams." She smiled each time she read those messages, because she knew now that success wasn't about fame or money. It was about impact, about living authentically, about giving your dream a chance to breathe. Looking back, Aaliyah realized something profound. Failure had never been the real enemy. In fact, failure had taught her resilience, patience, and growth. But doubt had nearly killed her dream before it could even begin. Whenever she met young people struggling with their own fears, she shared her story. She told them, "Failure is a bruise, not a scar. It teaches you. It shapes you. But doubt is a thief. It steals your chance before you even step onto the path. Don't let it win. Because the only thing worse than failing is never knowing what you could have achieved if you had tried." Her eyes would shine as she said those words, and she meant them with all her heart. Because Aaliyah knew now, more than ever, that doubt kills more dreams than